daily dose of complete health with your local chiropractor, Patrick Hogg. How much do you actually think about your injury? And have you actually ever thought about where it possibly comes from? So a lot of people, when they look at injuries or pains in the body, the first thing they always think of is, what have I physically done? So when everybody thinks of an injury, they're always thinking of something physical that they might be doing that may be triggering the problem. However, we oversimplify the complexity of these issues. Palmer, the original chiropractor, the real OG, actually talked about 3 types of stress. And I try and elicit this from people when I start taking their history. We try and educate people that there is more than one thing that will cause a physical stress with the body or a physical pain with the body. And all of them will have a physical impact, but they may not all be physical stresses. So the 3 types of stresses we are talking about is physical stress is number 1, which is one of the things that almost everybody will talk to me about when they come into my office. They'll go, "Oh, doc, I had this fall on my shoulder and now it's a problem." But the other 2 that we don't think about, and these are more of the issues when someone's problem is insidious. And when we talk about insidious problems, we're talking about is things that creep on that we don't really know why they're starting. And the insidious onsets are normally emotional stress and chemical stress. Now, a lot of people think why chemical stress, or what is chemical stress? Well, chemical stress is anything that we're adding to our body that is starting to imbalance either our hormone system or our nerve system or our salts or vitamin balances, etc., that will start to have an impact on how well our body will repair. So let me just ask you this. If you put a load of fast foods into the body, would you expect that to be positive in repairing the body or negative? And most people know that bad foods will have a bad impact on their body, mostly on their waistline. However, if it's expanding or inflaming your waistline and it's starting to inflate, you can only speculate that's starting to inflame and inflate your joints. And bad food and malnutrition and adding loads of chemicals like alcohol, tobacco, whatever other things that we may have in our environment, such as our cleaning products, etc., will all start to have an impact on our chemical balance. And the last one of the 3 is emotional stress. And again, if I just ask you to think what happens to your body when you start shouting at someone or when someone starts shouting at you, and you'll know that your heart rate starts to change. You'll know that your breathing pattern starts to change. And again, this starts to have an impact on our chemical balances within our body and starts to have an impact on how our body starts to heal. So when we talk about changes in the body and we're starting to talk about physical stresses on the body, it's not just physical stress that causes physical injuries. There can be chemical changes within the body, so what we're eating, and we may find that we're allergic to certain foods. And funnily enough, in my experience, the foods that people are the most intolerant to are normally foods that they're eating a lot. And then we have emotional stress. Emotional stress has a huge impact on so many people. And quite often, if you find yourself with a practitioner and you're hitting your head against a brick wall and you feel like you're not making progress, the probability is one of those 2 factors is in play, is that you're still exposing yourself to an irritant that is constantly re-triggering the problem. And so you'll go back to your practitioner time and time again, and your body is not adapting to the changes. And it's because every time we make a step forward, we're adding those things to the body that will then take us 3 steps back. So like I say, Palmer, original OG, the original chiropractor, spoke about 3 things: physical stress, chemical stress, emotional stress. And these 3 things will pretty much trigger 90% of diseases, possibly plus, within the body. You can take it to any irritant or any injury within the body. It all starts with one process, which is inflammation. And when inflammation becomes rife in your body, you will start to see changes take place. And that's when we start feeling sore, guys. So like I say, if you want to learn a little bit more about how we can start to manage these things And by adjusting the spine and starting to get the body a bit more into balance and starting looking at modifying people's lifestyles, we can start to see huge impacts in people's health, not just physically. We do see this here. We see people have emotional changes within their body when we start to connect to those dots within the neurological system. Patrick here from Complete Health. This is your daily dose. Remember, stay well physically, chemically, emotionally. Stay well. Patrick here from Complete Health. We'll see you soon.